Sorry. Also, puppy. Why are you so crazy? Osho. There will come a time when you will have to answer for all you've done. Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you're ready to meet your maker? Keep scrolling. Get out of here. I'm hungry. What the hell should I eat? I got a taste for McDonald's. Got a taste for tacos. I could just make a homemade meal. There's tuna. There's corn. I'm hella hungry. My neighbors are celebrating right now. I'm hungry as hell. Man, it smells so good out here. Even though the smoke is killing me. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining. I'm not gonna be on here very long. Just watching the cars pass by. Waiting for stalkers to come stalk me. It's really nice outside today. It was really humid earlier. You know, a brother just want to be happy. Happy, happy, happy. Guess it's just too much to ask for. Can't do nothing else but just be happy, I suppose. Life could be worse. It is. It is great outside. Very nice outside. Was not expecting it to be this chill. I thought it was going to be more humid, less hot. It's really nice outside right now. Pretty peaceful. I came outside to see if there was a stalker stalking me, but it was just my imagination running away. I tend to have big dreams, but I take small steps 'cause I don't walk fast enough. I kick my feet and kick the stones down the street. You know, times like this, I would really enjoy sitting next to someone. But I guess it's just more peaceful when you're by yourself. Yeah, that is true. Just relax. You don't really have to do anything. It's kind of the whole thing with life. Do, don't do. You'll be as is or you won't be at all. I do like going out. I like being invited out. Hey, how's it going, Bambi? Or Bam Bamble Bar 5777. I like those numbers. Yeah, I like to go out. I like to have fun. But right now, I'm just happy that I'm enjoying life one day at a time. I have to really sit back and look at my surroundings and say, could be worse. Could be worse. You don't know how good you got something until it's gone or taken away from you. But I guess it's the opposite too when it's you. When you take yourself out of somebody's life, that's when they realize that they had it so good, they wish they could have you back. I'm speaking in code, obviously, but I don't know. This world is dookie. There's so many wonderful people on this planet. It's sad that we wasted away on wars and making people get jobs so they can have money. Everybody reaches a certain age and they say, man, I wish I could have lived my life. Also, apologies. That's my dog also. He's barking at people. He's doing what a dog gonna do. Squirrel. Mm. You know, I'd like to think that I'm not alone in this world. That there's someone out there waiting for me or waiting for the right time to be in the right place at the right moment, and then bam, we meet. Something that seems almost impossible. You know, I had this revelation while I was on the porcelain dropping a number 2. If we exist and everything matters, then the things that we don't see that exist, does that matter? For instance, the cosmos is constantly expanding. Universes created and galaxies happen and develop over eons of time. And then, one day, the star just goes boom and explodes. But because we don't see it, does that mean that it matters? I would say it does. Just because we don't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I started thinking about that about my Etsy store. How does anybody ever really know what I'm selling or what I'm about? Even my book, my nocturnal that I wrote. How can people see what I post and see what I do when it doesn't exist to anybody? Because we live in a vast world where everybody's fighting for the spotlight, or just people want to be heard. I don't know. Why did your message get retracted? Oh, you took it back? Well, I would say that the world is pretty big and the universe spins its web. You know what I'd like from the times of old? Civilizations that actually made it work. The dynasty of the Egyptians, aka the Hittites. The first dynasty that created before the pre-ancient world, that dominated the culture and the way that it flourished because of the Nile. How advanced were they, or what prompted a civilization to want to be more than themselves? Hey, how's it going? I started thinking about this. Like, I have over 70 something tabs opened up in my Google Chrome, and I'm like, how did pre-ancient Sumerians, how did they know to map the celestial stars? I mean, in ancient times, puppy, Oshito. Sorry, my dog wants to say hello. Hi. But I started thinking about that. I started asking myself, pre-civilizations, they had no lights, or that's what we're told. We're told that pre-civilizations were just inept. No way that they had the advanced technology that we have. Yet, for some reason, we can't mimic their monumental designs, their complicated ways of structuring their civilizations. I remember I took this class in college, and it was about history of the ancient world, and he had made a comment that, do you know what defines a civilization? It's not their greatest accomplishments of mathematics, science, medicine, and all of that. What matters is their engineering of the sewage. Everybody has to go number one and number two. And a civilization is measured on how they're able to remove that poop and urine from their society. Where do you store it? Where do you put it? And ancient civilizations knew how to filter water, or they knew how to cleanse dirty water and turn it into either drinking water or turn it into irrigation to use to create crops. Like the Mesoamericans, like, since I can remember having consciousness, remember from what I can tell, Liawalia 0232. It's just crazy to think about ancient civilizations, how far we've come through history. But you only hear one side of it. In school, we're taught about the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, the sea people that came from to fight the Egyptians, the Hittites. But we're never told about Mesoamerica, the North America, from Canada to North America to South America. We're not really told about that. We don't find that out till later on. T09. 099. I would say that if you really get interested and you look up these things, you could really find yourself in a rabbit hole. Like, I started looking up, like, when the Crusades happened, like, when did Jerusalem lose their land? And I asked Google AI, technically the Israelites didn't lose their land, they were conquered. And I wouldn't say lost, I would say that there was missteps on their part. And that's why the land became, like, owned by the Caliphites and then the British. And then eventually there was some sort of, like, placement after World War II. Yeah. After, it's crazy. World War II was like the climax for the entire world and the nations. It was a different time, and it was still shady stuff. Pearl Harbor, they knew about the planes. Roosevelt said, let them go. We need to enter this war. We need to wake up the sleeping giants. I always remember that. Teddy Roosevelt, even though he was, I guess, racist would be the best way to put it. But hey, no one's perfect. Teddy Roosevelt was definitely one of my favorite presidents. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was also another one of my favorites. JFK. Hi. How's it going, Artie Beasley? Missed you. Nice. I do remember Beasley, yes. I hope you're doing great. I would say that this world is pretty fun. It's got a lot of history. But I would say the people that are running it right now are definitely just distracting us. It's scary to think that I'll be 120 years in 60 years. No, 80 years. Can you imagine living to 120 year old? You're welcome, Beasley. Hi, 0232. Can you imagine being 120 years old? I would hope I'd be able to still move. I remember I told this woman I was dating, I was like, man, if I could live to 125, I pray I'd be able to still be able to move my body like I was 65. But life don't work like that. All the food they're giving us, less restrictions, even more so now with this idiotic leadership that we're having. Oil is up, gas is up, everything is up. But the douchebags at top, they don't give a shit about us. They're trying to get rid of the middle class because they want us to fight for equality. The rich are trying to leave to go to Mars. Can you imagine they're trying to start a colony in space? I feel like we're in a Gundam series anime. Colony 13717, established 2071. The Elon Musketeers have created the Ring of Justice. Only half of humanity was able to leave Earth to populate this place. Earth remains a desolate hellhole. You know, like some sci-fi shit. Hi, good morning. I'm not gonna say what you said, but yes. How old do I look? Throw the numbers in the chat. Whoever gets it right, I'll touch my nose. I would say that what we're going through right now is a crisis. I'm so sad that people are being killed by federal agents. Like, I understand people die every day, but where's the accountability? You can't just kill somebody because they're brown. You just can't kill somebody because they're black. You just can't kill somebody because you don't like them. I mean, come on, what the hell? Ooh. Adri Beasley, you're within the mid, so don't go higher or lower. 37 to 45. Oh, no, you went under. Between 37 and 45. Add 2. 37 plus 2. The TV write the right number. No, don't say sorry. You're fine. Ooh, 47. Not yet. I'm actually minus 7 years. I'm 40. 40. I think that's right. I don't know Spanish. I speak a little of it, but I don't know it fluently. I know enough to speak Spanglish. But as I was saying, it's sad that they're killing a lot of people. It's sad that they're getting rid of us. They're really... America was built on immigrants. America was built on dreams of hope. The indigenous people who had this land, they fought with each other. They had their differences. It's human nature to want more. It's our carnal, desire. I don't know. The world is the way the world is. All we can do is just live in it, do the best we can to not let it take us down with it. I just want to live a good life. I want to make my parents proud. I want to make my children happy. I want to get married. I want to give more to this world than what's already given to us. There's so many people out there right now who are suffering. And not just in the United States, everywhere. Yes, 39. There you go. Bow. Wow, 39, 39. I turned 40 this year. Old man with the young, well, my soul is eternal and it is super young. But my body, forget about it. I can't decide what I want to eat. McDonald's, Burger King, tacos. Eh. But I'd have to leave my house. And I don't want to leave. I'm not trying to lose my parking. It's already bedlam out here. People are already freaking fighting for parking. New Zealand. Wow, I've always heard good things about New Zealand. If I would move somewhere and I had the money to move, I'd go to New Zealand. I've always heard New Zealand is a very nice place. You know, I mean, of course, it's got its own problems, but it's not as bad. And New Zealand is way ahead. You guys get games a lot earlier. I've always heard good things about New Zealand. You know, I'm not going to lie. I've always wanted to leave the country and visit other countries, but I haven't left. I would say I went to different cities. I've been to Hawaii. I've always wanted to travel, guys, and ladies, and people and persons, and they, them, and do. I've always wanted to travel. I've gone to New Orleans. I loved NOLA. NOLA was fun. I like talking to the folks down there with their southern accent. I live in America, the United States. I live in the United States. The country I live in is America. The state I live in is in Illinois. I've been wanting to travel lately. I'm really just, my soul is just saying to go out into the world and have fun. Never who you'll meet. I want to go live on the road, stay at hotels, venture around, wander for a year. Would you guys want to wander for a year in your own countries, or just wander throughout the country or the world? Go to Poland, go to Italy, go to England, go to Ireland, Portugal. I don't really want to go to Spain. Spain can burn. What's another country I'd want to visit? France. Rome. I'd love to go to Rome and see the Colosseum. I'd like to go to Greece, see the Parthenons, see the temples that used to exist. Go check out the wonders of the world, even though they're basically gone. I don't know, is it better to do excursions with someone you love or with family? Or would you rather want to go by yourself and explore the world? I think all three would be fun. I think you should go by yourself, enjoy the world. Then as you get a little older, find somebody who wants to do with you. That's okay. You have a good one, Beasley. I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for hitting my number on the nose. Hopefully I'll see you soon when I'm on my lives. Thank you all for joining my live. Thanks for talking to me. I'm just out here outside of my home, just enjoying the weather. Telling myself everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be alright. Trying to figure out what I want to eat. I want to be a fatty. I'm telling you, I really want some tacos. I look up at the sky, and man, it is freaking foggy. That thick ass smoke from Canada is wafting down here. You can really see it's not as dense as it was last week, but it's still there. Breathing in the air is like smoking cigarettes. I smoked Newport 100s for years. And let me tell you something. Inhaling this air, it doesn't feel the same. Anybody hear about the explosive diarrhea going throughout the United States, our country? Man, I went to Burger King and I'm like, I don't want no lettuce. I don't want no tomato. I was even thinking about not getting onion. But I got bacon on it. And I love pickles. Sliced pickles. I got a double whopper with bacon, no lettuce, and no tomato. Oh. Large size with fries and a Hershey pie. Today I really just only had breakfast. I just had a sandwich not that long ago. But I'm still freaking hungry. I'm a fatty. I can eat. I love eating food. I'm telling you, I would travel the country and I would eat my heart out. I would eat and eat. Would any of y'all like to travel and eat? Let me know in the comments. Where would you go and where would you eat? What would you eat and where would you go? Man, why are stalkers looking for me right now? Why are people looking for me? You know, when you go through things, you just want to be alone. But then, when you're alone, you're alone. I think it's more healthy to get out. Don't stay where you are. Get out. Don't waste your time in a room by yourself. I mean, obviously, you need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to, number one and number two. But I would say your life is too precious to waste it on a 9 to 5. To work for somebody who doesn't care about you. The other day I was talking about pain, how people can hurt you who you love. It sucks being betrayed. A lot of people would crack under pressure. A lot of people would be broken into from deceit. But if you breathe, try your very best to not let your thoughts get the best of you. Don't overthink. Yo, what's going on, Nanyo? Fairman Mom, T7s. I'm a lover, not a fighter, my friend. I can fight. But I'll tell you what, these fists, nah. My words, they're worse. I could break somebody like a twig with my words. My fist would do nothing but be violent. My words are much more better. But I appreciate the compliment. That'd be cool. I could see myself as a UFC fighter. Knocking in Conor McGregor. I'm Mexican, Irish. And the part of me that likes to fight is the one that's the luchador. Yes, I recall, man. I recall. I mean, man, Nuclip 82. I hope you're doing fine on these days. Thank y'all for joining my live. Thanks for interacting with me. Please let me know what's going on with you. Talk to me. We can talk about whatever you'd like. I'm just enjoying the day, getting ready to wind down, deciding if I'm going to buy Black Ops 1 ported for the PS5. $30. Swear. These people act like I'm a rich man. Yeah, let me go get my no limit black card out of my Lamborghini. Oh wait, you know what? I sold the Lamborghini and I got my Porsche. Let me go check my black Porsche. I think in the middle console I have my black card. I have over $1 million on it. I make six figures every 3 months. I can blow money like that. My butler is asking me when it's time. He's letting me know when it's time to go to the bathroom because he has to wipe. I swear. They say money doesn't bring happiness. And that's true. You can't buy happiness with money. You can buy a lot of things with money, but not happiness. You can't even buy love. You could pay for something like that, but it ain't love, baby. That's lust. It's just crazy to think that money is the life source of this stupid world amongst people. Yet, Tupac said it the best. We got money for war, but we can't feed the poor. They kill us because they don't like us. I've heard that the reason a lot of us are being silenced or unalived is because we're a threat to them. They're scared of us. Everything seems so random or coincidental, but it's not. It's well calculated. It's like they got a crystal ball and they're writing down names. What's that movie? Wasn't that movie called Wanted? Whoa, congratulations. What kind of fish did you catch? You know, I told my brothers the other day, I was like, man, I wonder what our life would have been like if Dad would have took us fishing. I'm sure we'd still be the same punks we were, but fishing is one of those things that I've always wanted to do, but I didn't understand. It's like golfing. I've been golfing. I don't understand the excitement, you know? Golfing, you're just whacking the shit out of a ball for 18 holes. I played a few times. I liked it. It's okay. I guess people like the tranquility, the peace. But it's crazy because I've seen people would lose their shit because, apologies, excuse my language. I've seen people lose their minds golfing, miss a swing, that's a stroke. Knock their ball into the sand or the dunes, that's a stroke. Yeah. Oh, a black drum. I've never heard of that. Yeah. I mean, when I golfed, I definitely would be drinking. I definitely would be drinking on a hot ass day. I'd start off at 9 o'clock on the first hole. By 11 o'clock, I'm wasted. Now, where are you going, guys? We're gonna get some burgers. Hey, man, you want some French fries? I get it though. I get the tranquility of golfing. Fishing too. Fishing to me seems more like a peaceful thing to do. You know? Uh-huh. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah, you're right. Jordan, J. Ater. I'm not saying your name ignorantly. That's just how I'm saying it. Apologies. Yeah, fishing is one of the things where I did in the neighborhood growing up in my city. We would go to one of the park districts. They had a pond. We grab sticks and strings and find worms in the dirt and fling them along the pond, and we catch fish, and then we throw them in. So Jordan, okay. Thanks for correcting me. I appreciate that. Thanks for being kind and patient. Yeah, fishing is one of those peaceful things. I feel you could be on a boat, relaxing. You don't have to smoke. You don't have to drink. You could just be sitting for hours with your pole in the pond, waiting for a tug until you pull in or reel it in. Like I've seen like people go marlin fishing. Like that's scary. Yeah, I was just about to say that, Jordan. You and I are right here, buddy. Oh, I love nature, especially when I'm one with it, or gummies or whatever that elevates me. But I mean, I could appreciate it sober. I think if you do things, if you enjoy life without vices, without needing to alter your perception, I would say that that's good. I've met a lot of people who just can't function without drugs, who can't function without certain habits. To them, it's just part of the formula that they need to get through the day. And it's scary because when you're codependent on something to enjoy life and you don't get it, it's like a dopamine. You don't get that hit and something snaps in you. You're not the same person. I think that's what's sad. I think about a lot of children who are affected by bad decisions from their parents. Just people who couldn't kick the habit. You know, I've heard like crystal meth, crack, cocaine, all these bad drugs that people took and just abused. When you're in school, they teach you about that stuff. Yeah, no, it's hard, man. Yeah, alcohol is definitely one of those. It's a gateway drug. It leads you to more. But again, it's also with you too. Impulse, control, having confidence to know that you don't need it. But it's not easy. Not everybody has strong willpower. A lot of people give in. I could be in a room full of people drinking and I'll just be drinking water. Man, how come you're not drinking? You don't drink? You don't drink? Oh, I drink. Yeah, hell yeah, I drink. But I don't need to. I think about getting home safe to my children, living for tomorrow. I don't want to die going home being a drunk guy. And then vice versa. You got to be careful. People around you can hurt you. Yeah, damaging to the fams. Gotta go. Take it easy, buddy. See you soon, Nanyo. No, Jordan, you're right. It hurts families. My dad would tell us when we were kids, if you think your actions and consequences only affect you, you're not using your head. You're not thinking right. When you mess up, it causes a ripple effect. Like when you grab a stone and you throw it in the middle of the water and it ripples out. You're the stone for your action, and the consequences cause the ripple effect. And it's sad because you ruin a lot of people's reputation. Or your parents get looked down on. Oh, you have a delinquent child. Your kid is in and out of juvie. He's a bad kid and he curses and he does bad things, stuff like that. Butterfly effect. Yeah, I've heard of that. One thing causes another thing to happen in another part of the world. Causality is what it's called. Yeah, I've been around a lot of people who get drunk, and I'm just like, I mean, don't be wrong. Most of the times, it's really good times, but there's been a couple times where I've encountered people where they drink way too much and they get sloppy. I never understood that. Why are you gonna get drunk and act a fool? You can drink, enjoy yourself. Don't make a fool of yourself. You're a good person. Drinking can bring the worst out of people and it sucks. But what's even worse is that people look at you differently and then they treat you differently because they know what you are. And when you try to get that respect back, you don't ever get it back. Oh, those are the worst. Yeah, those are the when people get into fist fights when they're drunk. Oh my God, that is the worst. I've been very fortunate where I never got myself involved into a drunk fight, but I've gotten close enough where people were ready to start throwing bows, and I'm like, whoa, 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 let's back up. I want to go home. I don't want to go to jail. I want to go home. But it's all about moderation. If you try to stop something cold turkey, you're denying yourself something you want. That means it becomes more tempting. I agree. If you're having a problem with substance control, alcohol control, gambling is another thing. Gambling and alcohol are the same thing. It leads to worse decisions, bad decisions. And I would say that having a problem and admitting you have a problem and seeking help for it is always a beautiful thing. But if you try to stop something that is part of you, you're only going to make it difficult for yourself. And it's hard to walk a thin line, you know, when you're trying to do both. It feels like you have to pick one or the other, and it's a very hard thing to do for people who need it. Oh yeah, trauma. I know a lot of people who get really really messed up, and it's because of I had a friend who I had a friend who one day got really bad drunk. Like he was drinking Jameson, he was drinking tequila. I was like he was on a mission to die, and I'm like, man, what the hell? Like, Brian, what the hell is wrong with you? Bro, talk to me, man. You're pissing yourself. You're throwing up on yourself. You're not making any sense, brother. You gotta thaw out, man. Yeah. And after like 2 days of sobering up, he finally told me that the reason he drinks so much is because, well, that day he was really trying to off himself, and I stopped him. And the reason why is because when he was younger, he was molested, and he just it was really bad. When he told me, I cried. Like I cried because I'm like, how could somebody do that to you? You were just a kid. How can somebody you trust do that to you? When you're a kid, you trust people, adults around you to have your best interest, and then they do that to you. It ruins good people, and it's sad because if they wouldn't have been touched, molested, or something traumatic, their lives could have been very different. But yeah, poor Brian. He tried his best. He really did try his best to keep it under control, but he got he he just had nobody to talk to. And he didn't look like nothing was wrong with him, you know? Yeah, he didn't look like nothing was wrong with him. He was he was working a good job. He was a labor job. He was making like $35 an hour at 22 years old. This guy had his own house. He had two kids already. He wasn't with the mother, of course, but he had two kids. He lived a wild life. This guy was doing drugs. He was drinking. He had different kinds of women. I mean, when you looked at him, you just assumed that he was just living life as a young man. But it turns out that he was dealing with demons. He was dealing with a trauma that could not ever be healed. That he couldn't get past it because he was hurt. He was molested. And I can't fathom what it would be like to be like that. I mean, I had some stuff happen to me, but not like that. Not like that. You know, I was fortunate enough where someone tried to do that to me and they were put in their place and they didn't do it ever again. But yeah, poor Brian, he was out in somewhere in the country and he was getting drunk like he usually did, and the drugs he bought, it was powder. It wasn't, it was laced with something, and he took a bump right through his nose. Next, the next day we found out that he was missing, and then a couple days later we ended up finding him where he was at. He overdosed, and he went through convulsions, they were saying, because his muscles were all like tensed up or whatever it was. It was real sad. It was real sad. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Yeah, he's in a better place now, and I know I've seen him a few times. He comes to talk to me in my dreams. He's a lot happier. He's made peace with what happened to him. He's not suffering. But yeah, no, drugs are it's horrible, man. It's sad what drugs will do to somebody. How low somebody can go because they need to hit, because they don't want to feel like crap the next day. Or I know certain drugs like crack and free basing and all that stuff. If you don't hit it, your body starts to withdraw, and it's the worst kind of thing to deal with. Withdrawals are the worst thing to deal with. I don't know personally from experience, but like I've said, some friends that went teetered that way, you know. Yeah, no, he's in. I remember the good stuff, you know. His kids, you know, I still. His kids are older now. I really don't. After he died, it just kind of disconnected everything, and it was sad. It was sad. It was a really sad wake. A lot of people showed up, and it was like, where the hell were all of you at when he was going through his shit? Where, you know, nobody cares about you until you die. They want to show up and cry. Oh, poor Brian. He was a good guy. Oh, man, remember when we had this and that? It's like, where the hell were you when this guy was eight fucking eight balls in and he's knocking himself back with Jameson and no one's there to help him? What do you mean you hung out with him and you basically got off of him? Oh my god. Oh, withdrawal. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the worst thing ever. Withdrawals are horrible. To withdraw is just, oh, oh. Yeah, no, it's very painful when you start doing these drugs and you don't realize the toll it takes on your body. It really does hurt you. People don't realize it. I mean, it just depends on you. You know, it depends on what makes you happy in life. But drugs and alcohol has a limit. You can have fun, but don't have that much fun. It's not fun anymore when you're doing it because you need it. I tell most people, if you're going to do something, make sure you look at it from a different perspective. You don't need something to be happy. You just need to moderate yourself. Yeah. Yeah, no, but it's hard though. You got people who run into the program and they can't stick to it because that temptation grips them. It takes a toll on you. It's very heavy. People don't give a lot of people credit who are in rehab, who are trying to change and turn around their lives. And it's even harder when they've hurt the people they love who were there. I had a family member, well, They were friends, but we consider them family. We would go over there every Thanksgiving, and one of their daughters was married to an addict. He was he was a crackhead, and he unfortunately got his girlfriend, the daughter, addicted to crack as well. Yeah, no, that's even worse. That's even worse, man. But yeah, he had got her, addicted to it, or at least gave her a taste, and she kind of took to it. Well, in order to feed their habit, he would steal things that people wouldn't notice. And one day, he ended up stealing something that somebody noticed, the dad. He stole a lawnmower and a brand new set of Husky tools. I'm talking about brand new, not even opened. Ratchets, sockets, everything that came with it. It was at least over $700 worth of tools and a lawnmower. He sold it for $100 just so he can get some more to support his and his girl's habit. When when the dad found out what happened, he threw the guy out. And he told his daughter, "You're going to rehab because if you don't, you're dead to me." And the mother was trying so hard to tell him, like, "Dude, no, no, don't say that, don't say that. It's not her fault." And he said, "No, no, she doesn't get off scot free. We told her not to mess around. We told her to get her life straight, and this is what she's doing. She has 2 kids with this guy, you know?" Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's sad. It's really sad that drugs will take a toll on you where you need it. I pray to God Almighty that whoever is going through that they're able to get out of it, because it's a black hole. Once you're in, it's nearly impossible to get out. And people don't understand the gravity of that weight, of how heavy it is for abusers, how heavy it is to let go. But then at the same time, it's hard when it hits you. I had a friend who asked me for money, and I was like, "Yeah, I got you. You know, what do you need?" "Oh, I just need $200." I'm like, "Whoa, $200?" Like, look, man, you better give me some sucky sucky for $200. You better stop playing. And of course, we were good friends. He was like, "No, no, 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 come on, come on." And I was like, "All right, I'll give you 100 right now. I don't got the other 100. You gotta wait for next week, but I got you on 100." He said he needed it for a bill, so I was like, "Sure, here's $100. It'll get him to where he's gotta go." A few days later, I get a call from his mother, and yeah, just 200, right? Yeah, 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 because I'm a fucking millionaire. Yeah, 200, why not? But I gave him 100. He kept it. But I didn't find out till a few days later from his mom. She called me, and she was worse than a damn hornet's nest. "How could you give my son money? How could you give him money, you idiot, you stupid Mexican mother, blah, 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 blah." Just every obscenity. And I'm just on the phone like, I literally took the phone. I'm just looking at it while she's yelling through the damn speaker. And I'm like, "Are you done calling me every profanity you can think of, Mrs. Rodney? Why would you give my son $100? He said he needed it for a bill. He didn't tell me what for. He just said a bill. I didn't know." Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you, being good friends with people like that is hard because that addiction overtakes them. They're not thinking about you, thinking about getting high. Well, I didn't know, but the mom was telling me that he suffers from cocaine abuse. And the dealer who sold him the drugs was like a friend of the family. And the reason the mom found out was because the $100 the guy was going to give for the drugs, he actually held up this family member at gunpoint and took all his drugs and the money he had. And he is now, or he went on the lam, so he just disappeared. I was like, holy shit. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I didn't know. When I loan money out, I don't expect people to pay me back. If you tell me you're going to pay me and return the money to me, then you'll return it to me. But I'm not asking for it if I give it to you. But I didn't know that my friend was going to take it that far. I didn't know he was going to hold this guy up at gunpoint for blow. I'm like, dude, you needed drugs that bad? Seriously? You know, and I don't know what's going in people's heads. Yeah. Well, my friend ended up disappearing for like a year and a half. Oh no, that's good. Yeah, no, there are people there. I got lots of friends that I don't ever have to worry when it comes to money. We go out to eat somewhere, I pay for it without question. We go get something to drink, they pay for it without question. We don't question each other when it comes to money because money ain't a thing. Money comes, money goes. That's just how life is. Life is too precious to worry about money, you know. But yeah, my friend, he was gone for a year and a half. He came to visit me, and I was like, "Bro, where the hell have you been?" And you know, he looked good. He looked good, and I was like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "Well, after I stole, after I held up my family member at gunpoint, and I fled out of the city. I went to Kansas. Then I went to freaking Colorado, and then I went to Utah, and then I ended up in Texas." I'm like, "Okay, well, what were you doing?" He's like, "Well, I met this girl. I robbed the guy at gunpoint because I went to go kick it with this girl in Kansas, and then we went to these different states, and then we both were drug addicts, running all the way down till we finally got to Utah, and then she ended up leaving me for some other crackhead." And then I was like, "Crack? I thought you were doing blow." He's like, "Well, we went into other drugs too." I was like, "Bro, what the hell?" Yeah, no, I don't mess with people like that either. You either got it or you don't got it. You're either my people or you're not my people. That's just that. I know who I fuck with and I know who I don't fuck with. Excuse my language. But yeah, so he ended up telling me his wild, crazy story, and I was just like, "Bro, what the hell?" I'm like, "Well, what are you doing here, back in in Illinois?" He's like, "Well, I got my life together. I got sober. The last 6 months I've been sober, and I wanted to return you the $100 that I borrowed." Yeah, my friend returned the $100 that I loaned him a year and a half ago. I was like, "I don't want the goddamn money, bro. I don't care about the money. I care about you, man. What the fuck? What, why, bro? Why overblow? Why, what, what are you doing now? You know, in the 6 months that he said he changed his life, he got another job doing construction again. He was able to control himself with limiting his vices. He stopped doing blow. He stopped doing all the other drugs. He said when he went through the withdrawals, he did not want to do it again. I guess the withdrawals were so heavy on him that he just said, "I don't want to do this anymore." So he stopped. And the worst part about all this was he contracted AIDS. How? He doesn't even know how he got AIDS. He said that when he went to get rehabilitated, I don't know, however they did it, He got checked up, and it turned out that he has AIDS. And he didn't have long to live. He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember shooting up with needles. He does. I don't know. You know, I thought maybe I'm like, man, go maybe you had unprotected sex with somebody or something like that. You had to have done something to contract it. And he's like, I don't know what it is, but you know, he took it really heavy, and you know, he broke down. And yeah, most people don't realize that you when people share needles and they fool around with somebody who has shared needles and don't realize they're the carrier for AIDS or HIV, and they spread it because they didn't know that that's how you can contract HIV and AIDS. I don't, please forgive me, I know of it, I just don't know the transmissions and how it progresses. I believe AIDS is the worst of HIV, I think, or something like that. But anyways, he had contracted AIDS. He didn't know how, and it really tore him up because he was saying that he didn't have much time to live. And yeah, bodily fluids. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Unfortunately, you know, he was like, I'm dying. I just wanted to come to you and make amends, and I wanted to apologize for you. I know my mom said that she was very mad at you, and she said that it was your fault and all this stuff. And I told my mom, no. You know, and I'm like, damn, your mom actually talked to you. Wow. He's like, well, she had no choice. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, she was on her deathbed. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And, you know, she died like a week before he came to see me. I was like, holy shit. Bruh. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? I'm like, man, bro. He's like, oh, you know, I understand if you don't want the $100 because you might think I might give you AIDS. I'm like, bro, I told you, I don't give a shit about the effing money, bro. It ain't about the money, man. I care about you, bro. I was there telling you to slow down when you were at the peak of your life, man. You didn't listen, bro. But it's because it is what it is, man. Yeah, but he he lasted a few more months, longer than they had anticipated him dying. Yeah, he was a good guy. He was a good guy, man. He was a good person. Had it not been for the drugs or whatever demons he was dealing with, I think he would have been alright. But yeah, it was unfortunate. He passed away, and nobody showed up. Nobody showed up to his. I mean, I did, but only a handful of people. The people that before he spiraled out, people he helped, people who he was kind to, they didn't show up for shit. It was real sad to see him go the way he did. No, a lot of the stuff is masked. When you drink and you smoke, and a lot of it is because you can't handle the trauma that's happened. You can't accept what's happened to you. But again, I'm speaking in ignorance because I don't really know what it's like to have an addiction. I don't know what it's like to be in somebody's shoes who has put themselves through a lot of pain. I don't. It's really sad. It's really sad how life can go sideways when you make one bad decision and then you just can't let go. It's like you wish sometimes you would have never started picking up that stuff. You wish you could go back to when you first had the taste and smack the shit out of yourself. Don't do it. Yeah, a lot of people are able to function with certain smaller doses of things that don't cause addiction. But again, anything that becomes a bad habit is considered an addiction, you know? As long as it doesn't mess with your livelihood, I guess. Yeah, I mean, again, you're human. You know, you shouldn't deny yourself the things that you like. You just have to know your limit. If you don't know your limit, then don't be a fool and try to test the waters. You're gonna jump in shark infested waters and it's gonna eat you alive, man. It ain't worth dying over. Weed ain't nothing, man. Life is the best thing to be high on. But I understand. I don't know, but I understand why people need it. Bad things happen to us. Things that you just can't tell another person because you feel they'll look down. It's a lot about of ego. It's a lot about of crying, accepting the fact that something happened to you. You need to allow yourself to embrace what happened to you. If you don't stare at the truth and you don't accept what happened to you, you'll always be living in fear. You'll always be living in a lie. I really wish you wouldn't do that, man. Your life's too precious. You're too precious in this world, man. Somebody out there needs you, man. There's a reason why you haven't drank yourself into your grave. Yeah, I would say support is expensive. You have to fit a criteria. Kind of disappeared there, so yeah, I wish there was more mental health issues, resources. I wish there was more support, less restrictive support. You know, like, oh, you have to meet a criteria in order to get free help or something like that. It's like I said, they got money for war. They got money to pay pedophiles to continue to run the country, but they can't take care of our veterans. They can't take care of the homeless. They can't take care of people suffering from drug addictions, alcohol abuse. All those things have to be government funded, state funded, public funded, philanthropic funded. But the government that makes its own money, prints its own money, puts its dead presidents on it, can't be humane enough to make it more easier for people with tendencies to fall into habitual needs to help them rehabilitate themselves. Yeah, I would agree to disagree. There shouldn't ever be a war on drugs because drugs were introduced by our own government. Drugs have always been around before the government ever happened. Drugs have been since the ancient times, but not like we would know personally. But I would say that we all suffer with something, and the world could be better if we really looked out for each other instead of forcing programs to be restrictive. Oh, well, you're a felon. Sorry, you can't get into this program. You have to pay $500. $500? I barely make $100 a month. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, I don't know what you want me to tell you, sir. We're packed to the limit. Next. They treat you like nothing. And that's why you got a lot of people who still abuse drugs, who resort to violence, who resort to stealing, because the system that's supposed to help you is also the same system that's rejecting you. It's telling you, well, you shouldn't have got addicted to drugs. Well, if you want us to help you, tell your local leaders to vote so and so. Tell Congress to pass bills so we can get you a therapy. No, yeah, you're right. When you hear about something as opposed to doing it, they're two big different factors. You can know about cocaine, but not know. When you do it, that's when you'll know. And it's an upper. Oh no, it's a downer. It's a downer because it takes you up, but it brings you all the way down. But again, I can't speak from experience because I don't know what that stuff is like. And I don't judge people who do that. But it is sad to see people who could have been more than what they were. Drugs really hurt people. People hurt themselves with it. Yep. As is everything in life. What goes up must come down. We only got a short time here on this earth. I don't want to be a loser like Elon Musk. I don't want to be a crybaby, disgusting person like the president right now. I don't want to be a hypocrite like all those people in Congress who make salaries better than teachers. I just want to be happy in life. Knowing that there's bad, but there's also good. Well, y'all, I was only planning on staying on it for 10 minutes, but it's over an hour. So thank you all for joining me. Jordan, thank you so much, man. I hope everything goes great for you. You can like it, subscribe. I would appreciate it, but you don't have to. Obviously. Yeah, the rich get richer. Yeah, you're not lying. But that doesn't mean it has to stay like that. All it takes is one day of change. Hell yeah, good chat. You have a good one. You guys be safe. You be safe too. I usually get on lives every so often, so if you happen to catch me on here, just say what's up. You have a good weekend. Be safe. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. Thank you. You're an amazing person.